Okay, so we have our bits of string here. We have our 5 pieces of toy that are all ready to go with lashing together. So let's just get into it. Okay, we take our harakiki. Use your finger and just break a little piece like that, and then here you go. This is your first piece of string. Now, what we're going to do here is the puna that we're going to create on here is actually an old knot that is used in almost everything our tupuna would have done. From lashing your waka together, there are places on the waka where you can use this knot. I know that because I've used it on my own waka, and they would have used it to build their whare, lean-tos, whatever. So this is called a square knot. Sorry, I don't know what its tutoru name is, take to play, because I've forgotten. So what you do is you have your tauda like this. Alright, you come in and you slip a loop around one, and then it goes over there. Alright, and then you grab those and see this is the shape it makes. Now you've got to cross over and follow the same path back the way you came. There, right, and there, and there you go. You got these 2 strands over there. Now with these, you come underneath, right? Just come underneath here and then tie a knot. Tie a knot there. So tighten that up. That doesn't tighten up the whole knot, but doesn't do too bad a job. Now this end comes over this way, all right, like this, and you cross it over and around to there, so that it goes back down along the thing. Now this tauda here comes underneath and comes back to meet this one, and what you do is you just tie a little knot here just to tighten it up. Don't worry about how it looks right now, we'll tidy it up in a minute, because what you want is this to look nice, reasonably nice. There you go. Then you come around to the front side, right, over here, and you knot it off. So there, and there. I tried to do a reef knot, but I did a granny knot. It doesn't really matter. Then you snip these ends off. Don't go too close to the knot, or when it loosens up later, that'll come out. So if you leave enough of a little bit of end there, it should stay together. So that's actually pretty good. It's pretty strong. The stick's not moving in the knot, which is good. And not only that, it looks quite pretty, you know, except for that part that's turned over. But you know, I'm not a perfectionist. I just like having a bit of fun. Anyway, right, now with this next bit, we've got to if we lash it right there, when we go to twist it later, it'll come down to there, but I like a little bit of an overhang, so I'm going to aim for about there. That means I lash that slightly off on the end and in that spot there. So I take these ends are too short. Where did that harakiki go? Oh, right there. I take another strand. Right. Yep. And half that. Cut that little bit off, I don't need it. And this comes under there, and the square knot starts all over again. So the 2 lines go over there and they cross underneath. Right? And then we come back over, and again we have those 2 strands over the top, like we did last time. Now, this time we're gonna, well, not this time, again we're gonna come up so they're both on the same side, like this. This guy goes across and around to the back side. This one comes underneath and around, and they meet up here again, and we tie off that knot. Remember, we'll do it reasonably tight. Pull that in, pull that in. There. Then we bring those back to the front of the frame, and we tie it off. A little better than the granny, and we cut those off. Now we have a look at that. Now see how I said earlier I didn't want that to happen, so that means if you have a look at that, I've all it takes is a little bit of a push through there to give it that little gap that you wanted, so that when I do this, you end up with that nice shape. Yeah, with the arco goes off that way, and we have this. Now we've got to redo that. You know, we've got to lash that onto there and onto there, and you know, and once we've finished all the lashing, we've got to lash this, and this. And voila! We have our frame all finished now. We've lashed it in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places. Now, the frame is all set for the rope all. Now, what we do with the rope all is, let's turn this over, because you actually have to lash it to the bare side. If you lash it on the other side, these would be sticking through the rope all. So what we do is we start grabbing our rope all and turning it into, I suppose, the shapes that we need for here. So this means a bit of measuring. So we're actually going to start with this piece down here. So we have to have a little bit of an overhang, like that. So that will be the first one that gets lashed onto the frame. We might as well use the same piece of thing for there. There's the second one, and that's keeping it shape. Let's turn it that way. Oh, anyway, my hands are a bit I think so. And one more where we'll reach it there. I tell you, let's do 4 and I'll lash 4 on, just so you can see what it looks like with these 4. And that looks like it's good enough to make one more shape. Now there. Good boy. Now these are going to go dum 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 all the way along there, just a bit like Venetian blinds. If you don't know what they are, go home and have a look on some of your kitchen windows. You might have some. Anyway, let's take our toda again. So this, we're going to need the long one. I don't know what I did with that other piece of long bit, but let's play, we've got one here. So we take a toda again, using our fingernail. We just strip a nice long piece there. Now this is a different knot. If any of you have ever done tukutuku panels, this is why the Manu Taratahi is called a Manu Tukutuku. Oops. So we turn it out, cut that off. Now this is how you start it. You just put the loop through there, come up and cross. Now this is in the shape, obviously, of the you know, when they do those ones with the Taratahi whitu, with all the different crosses that make up the thing. So it's a appropriate little knot for the kite, because you're going to be flying it up into the heavens. So you cross that underneath, bring that up through here. Now just push that back because you need these out, otherwise you won't be able to lash that bit. Yeah, just hold that back like this. Take your next one, plonk it in there, cross, down through there, down through there, right, and come back on the opposite side, right, pull it a little bit tighter. This third one I'm going to knot, not that one. Okay, this one here comes into there. Okay, now this knotting is actually important because it means that if the string breaks, it's not going to all unravel. So you just do a little single little knot underneath, and that, there, and you're all ready for this next one. Come up through there. You put this one on, cross. The further you go up, the easier it starts to get, because it's a bit finicky down in this area where you know, you got sticks in the way, and it's a tight space to try and do your lashing. You'll see what I mean when we do the next lash along the side here. We'll do that one, then I'll get you to have a good look. I'll just tie this off and leave this on, because we can use this one to continue on putting more rope on. But just for now, I just wanted to show you how to do this. Right. Okay, another piece of string. And this one exactly the same as the first, only this time we're going to start the lashing from, oops, this end. Bring that up so it's nice and even. Okay, now crisscross. Now, like I said, starting off these lashes is a bit of a thing, because you have to now I've got a little trick. I'll just go around these two, pull it, and then that comes through nicely on the other side. And then we swap sides, and just because it's the first one, I'm going to knot that off, right? Because then I can leave that and get this one up through there. Okay, and then that one there, and then we cross. Oh, the stick, I forgot about the stick. That's okay to bite. There we go, we got the crisscross going. Good to actually lash off these first two rope, mainly because that's where you need the strength the most, down here. If this all starts to unravel, then the whole thing becomes bloody hopeless. Cross, and see how that's a bit twisted? Just twist it down and use the harakeke to make it go flat. Alright, tie another little knot. I'll on this third one, because you've got to, I always like to tie off these ones that are a bit twisted, because it keeps them in shape a little better. And then one more up through here, and we'll do the crisscross again. Cross. This will be the last one for this particular mount. Right. And we tie that off. Oops. Oh, what happened there? I picked up the wrong one. Tie that off. I tied it off all together. Keep that dangling, and there you go. You got the first line of this. Now, when you got to lash these down, you're going to be pulling these back so it straightens it up. See, so that I'll actually just do that so you can see that. It is important to keep the harakeke, sorry, not the harakeke, the ropor straight on the on your frame, and as you go along, you'll actually find that that the whole thing will strengthen and look straighter as you go along. Let's just do a couple of these and then have a look at it. So we crisscross. Like I said, this is always the hardest part, these first ones. So I didn't use my little trick there because I'm pulling back on this one to straighten it up. Yeah. Tie that off underneath. Pull that up through there. Pull that up through there. And we'll just do this one, then have a look at it. And you'll see how the pattern is starting to take shape. So at the moment I'm using my finger to pull that back, and you can see a little gap growing in there, but that's straightening this all up. Right, let's just have a look at that on the table. That will straighten up the more you start to lash it all together. Hey, and look really nice with the pattern going down the whole kite. Okay, and here we go. We've managed to lash all up there. We're on to our last lash. So just put that over there. We'll take another piece of harakeke. I had to get a couple more strands. Ran out with all of that, but that's all Kate to play. If you have a look down at the rubbish I've got building up down there, hey, if you're going to do this, and you know, tamariki ma, make sure that you put something down to capture all of the para, hey, so that you can put it back where it's supposed to go, and it helps with the future growth of your harakeke if you put the harakeke back with it. And some of the other stuff can go into the mulch around the harakeke too. Here we go, on the last bit. So we're still doing that same knot, you know, the tukutuku knot. Still doing my secret trick. Pull that back a little bit. Oops. Let's bring this over here. Pull that back a little bit and just tie a little knot at the start. So I'm just wanting to get that to sit flat. Very good. And just pull that back a little bit. Okay. And then you come up on either side. Here we go. We're almost there. 3 more to lash and she's all done. Right. Now these ones need a little bit of flattening, so I've been putting little knots in at the bottom of all of these, which is kei te pai. Then I'll just slide that back, that back, so that this all is reasonably symmetrical. It's not going to be perfect, but hey, the fun part is when you try to make it fly. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. You've got to go back to the drawing board when that happens. Okay, that's I'm just going to knot that off because that's not long enough to get the last 2, and then I'll get another piece, just so that this last strand is nice and tight. Oh, just so you can see the underneath. Hey, all that, there's all the little extra bits that you add in to do, to hold this all together. Hey, it's looking pretty good. Manu Taratahi. And the thing about decorating it, what you can do is get a little bit of paint your designs on it, do whatever you want to do in that regard. The kite's not going to mind. And then you try and lash it up so that you can test it out for flying. So twist that so that it's going to sit down nice and flat. There we go. Tie a knot down there so that it holds that shape. Now, just to remind you, if you're making these, you can use ropal, but it has to be dry ropal, and you can collect that ropal in the same year as you make the kite, but I find that the ropal is better a year on or even longer. And all I do is I store it under my house, and it dries out down there quite nicely. Here's the last knot. Right, there's the last knot. I'll just turn that over, clip, clip, and here we have a lovely little Taratahi. It's only a little one. I normally like to make them bigger than this, but to be honest, I haven't got enough ropal, good ropal. This ropal is a couple of years old, to be honest, and because I was away doing some mahi last year and I didn't get a chance to harvest my things, and my wife gave half my stuff away. I used to have lots more of this, but somebody was looking for it, I can't remember who, and hopefully they put it to good use. But there you go. So the last thing to do here, is to create part where your kite is able to you're going to try and make it fly. Hey, so I normally just do what's called we call this a MAUAO log. Yeah, I'll do that again. A MAUAO log hitch, and you twist that over, and we put it over the end of this. Pull it up into there, oops, put it over into there, and just hold that up like that, put a little half hitch on there, right, then this piece here, try not to break your things. I like to have it about like that. Yes, that's good. Now, Then we do there another, this one's called a clove hitch. Down this end, similar to the other one, but not quite the same. And tie that off on there. Yeah, right. And there's your little thing. So what you do is you come out and then you start, because there's no wind, it's not that easy, so you've got to find out where's the best place to tie your string onto here. So you want this kite to fly something like this. So you've got to find the right spot. So if I had a bit more wind, it would be easier to do, but yeah, that's about the place where I'm going to tie my my string. Now, I haven't got any muka, so what I do use is a jute, which is a little hairy string you can get from Bunnings or elsewhere, and I just tie it onto here, and I use that as my flying line, and then I'll take this and decorate it. Now, if you haven't quite got these two even, right, then what you do is if this is pulling to this side, it means it's heavier on this side. It's heavier, so it means you've got to add some weight to this side, right? So you just you either grab another stick of thing and tie it onto there to make it a little heavier, right? And you try and even it out so that when you fly it, actually it feels not too bad. It might actually fly without the thing, because it's if you notice when I'm pulling it my way, it's actually going quite evenly. Sometimes you get them, well, that one pulled off to that side. Yeah, that's not too bad. I think that that might actually not fly too badly. It might fly quite nicely. Let's put it that way. Right. Anei. So, hey, ko mutu aku kōrero o te wānei I runga tēnei kaupapa I hangai a tātou he manu tukutuku mō Matariki. That should be a bit of fun, flying the kite up on MAUAO on Sunday. So, hey, ngā mihi, ka kite.